Hey guys, it's your humble host, or Kiss You Prefer, so I'm back with another video. Yes, I understand everybody's been covering this guy, but I wanted to give my own thoughts, and I may be repeating points, I don't know, but I can't tell you how many times I've covered so much stuff on my channel, or have had conversations, or both. I do apologize, I'm still tired. I've had a long freaking day. My ankle has been flaring up. I'm on anti-inflammatory meds for small pains in my chest, and my car's window motor decided to go out tonight. So I got to be in a parking lot trying to get the damn door panel off just to force the glass pane up. So yay! Anyway, I do apologize. I'm not going to have much energy, but yeah. No, I don't wear makeup. The stuff is too expensive. I'd rather spend money elsewhere. That's just me. If you do wear makeup, the women out there, that's your choice. I know that's a whole other can of worms, whatever. Anyway, I've seen snippets of the interview with a representative from Ulta Beauty talking to Dylan about girlhood and womanhood, and it is the most insulting and, dare I say it, misogynistic thing I've ever seen. I don't use that word, really, and I've really never had a reason to use that word. But when you have two guys who want to play house or dress up, trying to define what womanhood is to actual biological women, it's like feminists trying to define masculinity or trying to tell them how masculinity should look and feel like. So it's just as insulting and just as toxic. Anyway, let's read. Ulta Beauty said it's standing behind transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney after he was recently featured on the company's podcast discussing femininity. This dude is so freaking cuckoo. I've seen some of his TikToks, and he had mentioned at 4 years old he knew that he was a girl. I don't know what happened to this individual at 4 that just like mentally broke him, but something did happen. He was either touched, brainwashed, his parents did something. I have no idea, but the fact that he is saying, oh, hey, at 4, I knew this about myself, tells me that something broke him to such a severe degree that he was left in confusion, because he mentions in his talks how he was gay for a while, then came out as non-binary, and now he thinks he's a woman. So there's something deeply disturbed with him, and I'm not sure what it is. In Ulta's video clip, which was published October 13th and has been viewed nearly 130,000 times, Mulvaney discussed the definition of beauty along with host David Lopez, who identifies as gender fluid. Another guy trying to play dress up. And I think I never saw myself as beautiful before this gender identity sort of journey started, because I didn't think boys were allowed to be beautiful. So already the undertones of being confused about what masculinity looks like and how beauty is defined for men, because yes, the word beautiful is not used in the same way for men as it is for women. Did you guys remember the movie Real Steel? It's with Hugh Jackman, and it's pretty much about Hugh Jackman's character learning to be a father, and he works with this what's considered to be a junk robot to wrestle or box, because the world of boxing has been taken over by robots. So people box robots against other ones, and there's a term called shadow boxing, and Hugh Jackman's character has a love interest, and the term beautiful is actually used in regards to Hugh Jackman boxing, because I forget the woman's name in the movie, but she goes on to say how her father trained Hugh Jackman's character in his art, and she said that it looked like he was dancing because of the way he was dodging his opponent's moves and striking, and she goes, it was beautiful. So that's just an example of the word beautiful being used for men. It does not mean, nor is it used in the same way for men as it is towards a woman or to describe a woman. Another example of the word beautiful that could be used towards men is him having a very intimate, and not just sexual, because intimacy is not just sexual, but just, having a special moment with his wife, or playing tea with his daughter, or showing his son something and just having a beautiful moment, saying, oh, hey, you know what, that is beautiful. So that's just an example. So there's already confusion. There's already these undertones like, I don't know how to define my own masculinity. Oh, well, therefore, I'm not masculine. I'm going to be feminine because feminine is the equation of beautiful. It equates to beauty. So, yeah, there's so much to unpack in just a little bit. I'm not a psychiatrist and will be here all day with me trying to dive into that. Melvani and Lopez also discussed their journey with their gender. Some anti-trans customers responded, threatening to boycott the company's products. So, anti-trans is supposed to be some sort of slur. As I've told people, I'm anti-LGBT overall. I used to be live and let live quite a few years ago until the Save James stuff, and I started to see more and more stuff come out and how women started to get pushed out of their own sports, their own safe spaces, like the rape shelters and whatnot. And I just said, fuck it, I'm done with all of it. I am intolerant to all of it because, there is no room for compromise. So the fact was like, oh, well, you have anti-trans people, a lot of those people speaking out are actual biological women. Womanhood is not defined, and I know the interview's like just about an hour long, but womanhood is not defined by dresses or high heels or skimping about or acting scared of small stuff. Even women can't wholly define what womanhood is because it's different for every woman. And I've said this before on this channel, is there's a basic understanding of femininity and womanhood, but how she expresses it is different from woman to woman. And what they focus on and what they want to bring out of their femininity and womanhood also depends on the woman herself. So, and what girlhood is and what it's supposed to be is not only do you go through puberty and that sexual side of you wakes up, but you're supposed to learn how to express your womanhood and your femininity properly. And what has happened, like with feminism and the introduction of the sexual revolution, that has been destroyed and attacked much like masculinity, how men and boyhood has been attacked, destroyed, degraded, and not really seen as important. So they've been trying to blur the lines for a very, very long time, and it's very horrifying, and it's all being done on purpose. Anyway, let's continue. Ulta in turn responded to the critics on Twitter. The premise of The Beauty of is to feature conversations that widen the less surrounding traditional beauty standards. We believe beauty is for everyone. The company posted in part, the intersectionality of gender identity is nuanced, something David and Dylan acknowledge themselves within the episode. Regardless of how someone identifies, they deserve our respect. Well, here's the thing. Yes, beauty is for everyone, but again, how beauty is applied is different from a man to a woman. And I've already given examples of how it could be used for a man. A woman is saying that, yes, she's beautiful. Her looks, her personality, her heart, the way that she does certain things. So it's different. And trying to equate the word as the same meaning or same implication is not realistic. Yes, there's nothing wrong with calling an actual man beautiful, but it has different implications. It has different nuanced meanings than how it would apply to women. And that's just the facts. Like, you wouldn't necessarily call a woman handsome. Calling her handsome would imply that she's more masculine looking, just from my opinion. And it's not really a word interchangeable. Handsome is more defined for a guy, and that's just how it is. So, and I'm not saying people who are struggling don't deserve respect, but what the respect that you are asking for, if you can even call it respect, it's not even real respect. You want people to bow down to this delusion of, oh, hey, I feel I'm this way, so come live in my reality with me, and you guys define that respect, and it's bullshit. According to Insider, Mulvaney is popular on TikTok after his 100 Days of Girlhood series. He often talks about, he often talks about the daily life of a transgender woman. Recently, Mulvaney interviewed President Joe Biden and asked if states should have the right to ban gender-affirming healthcare. And here's the thing, so a little bit to unpack there, is 100 Days of Girlhood. Like I said, girlhood is pretty much how a young girl turning into a young woman learns how to live with her sexuality, waking up, her changing body, and how to express that properly and what that means in regards to society, the family, future marriage, and on top of how she sees herself as a woman. That is what girlhood is. And the person that teaches that to her mom, her grandma, her aunt. So that's taught to her by older women, and that's how it's supposed to be. But again, we have lost that. That connection is gone, and I can, like, for me, it's like a small, well, not even small, but like big confession. I lost that growing up. I didn't really have that growing up because of what happened to me. So that connection was completely destroyed and just detached. And it's very detrimental to have something like that attached. It's just like sons to fathers. They need to have older men, their father, their grandfather, older brother, uncle, possible cousin, teach them what it means to be a man and how their sexuality applies to that. Because yes, your sexuality, your physical sex, your body does tie into your manhood and your womanhood, and that's how it is. Womanhood and manhood are biological, they're mental, they're spiritual, they're social. So there's so much. And people, and I'm going to use the word freaks because it's not people, I'm not referring to the word to people who are struggling. I'm referring to the people who are pushing this shit, who are purposely trying to have people live in confusion because they're easier to freaking control. You have these freaks running around trying to delude and have deluded very much of the population, a large portion, saying, oh, hey, they're interchangeable and this and that. No, it is not like that, and it's just disgusting. Anyway, let's continue. And as for the gender-affirming healthcare, it's not life-saving. You have the NHS who backed this in the UK, who backed the mermaids, turn around and go, we screwed up. This is not healthy. This is not safe. This is not reversible. So I can't tell you how many people, even some of my own coworkers, who think, oh, hey, puberty blockers are reversible. No, they're not. No, they are not. And people who have been on hormones, who are still on hormones, are just mentally unstable. Because when you have, again, it goes back to the effects of synthetic hormones, whether it be birth control, HRT. If you have a naturally balanced hormone, if your natural hormones are properly balanced and you throw in a synthetic one that ruins that balance, you're going to be more depressed, you're going to be more fatigued, you're going to gain weight, you're going to lose hair, you have a higher chance for cancer, you have a higher chance for heart attacks. So, no, injecting fake hormones in your body and throwing off that balance, No, you screw up your body for life the longer that you are on that stuff. And there's even more nuance because there's some, depending on how long you are on that stuff, it just birth control. Some women's bodies can bounce back from that, but not everybody can. So saying that overall puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones or whatever are irreversible, they are not. In the long run of things, they are not irreversible. Not by a long shot. I still have weight. Like I said, I use birth control because it's such a big freaking thing. I just did a video because this also ties into this bullshit as well. How feminists are trying to get men to take birth control, and that it's awful stuff. It really is trying to use it to prevent yourself from getting pregnant or to stop yourself from having periods. That will be detrimental to a woman's body. Now, if you're using it for things to regulate hormones if they're already out of whack, that's fine. Like I said, birth control by itself has multiple uses, but depending on the use, it could be very detrimental and straining on the body. Anyway, I'm going off into the weeds, but you guys get what I'm saying. So, putting that stuff, injecting that stuff into a child who's still developing, brain-wise, body-wise, bone-wise, organ-wise, and having that natural balance stopped, freaking cripples them. I'm like, bring up Jazz Jennings for a perfect example. Like, if you guys remember him, his mother has Munchausen by proxy. Because he was put on puberty blockers, his manhood did not grow out, and when he went to have the transitional surgery down there, there wasn't enough quote-unquote material. So anyway, let's continue. Golly, what is with all the ads? I thought there was more, I guess not. But anyway, I almost want to play this because I did sit and watch this, but I don't want it to be struck. Well, if it gets struck, it'll be on BitChute. No, how about we just, there we go.
Day 1 of being a girl, and I have already cried 3 times. It's day 215 of being a girl, and when I watched that day 1 video back, I literally cringe watching it. You know when you read old diary entries or you see old photos of yourself from the past and you're like, what the hell was I thinking? That is how I feel about my early days of girlhood videos. And as much as I want to delete that video, I'm not going to because I know it's part of the journey, but the contents of that are just not really it. You know, I see what I was trying to do there. I was trying to be relatable, was just a lot of stereotypes, but
and that's the thing. So, and that's like Drag Queen Story Hour too, is stereotypes. They take the most stereotypical thing of women and go, oh, well, hey, this is womanhood. I'm going to go and apply this to myself. Therefore, I'm a woman now. And it's, yes, as I said, stereotypes exist, but not everybody are those stereotypes, nor are those stereotypes always realistic. So the fact that he's trying to apply what's seen as stereotypical as what people perceive what defines a woman is fucking delusional. It's just outright delusional.
Shout out to everyone that watched that video on day 1 and said, you know what? We're going to let her cook a little longer. We're going to be patient with her. And I think I've made some progress, people. And I was recently DMing with a fabulous trans woman on here about some of her concerns with my content. The primary one being that the structure of the days infers that I sort of woke up that day on day 1 and was like, you know what? Being a girl sounds fine. I'm going to try that for a while. So I'm going to set the record straight. I did not wake up that day and decide to be a woman. This wasn't a choice that I made. The only choice was that, am I going to live another day suppressing my true self, or am I going to come out? Because my dysphoria with my gender has been happening since I was 4, on and off throughout my life.
So I brought up how he talked about how he knew at 4 or started confused something. Whenever you have somebody that goes, hey, I'm trans or I'm the opposite sex or whatnot, born in the wrong body, they always say, oh, well, I knew when I was 3. I knew when I was 6. I knew when I was 5. And it's like, no, You freaking didn't, because kids do not understand that stuff. They do not understand the change to their own bodies until they are later on in their teens and it is properly explained to them what is going on, what how that stuff is applied and how they are to adjust to it properly. So whenever you have people who spout this stuff, they were indoctrinated, they were broken either in a sexual or mental way, and you can always go back and find that something happened down the road, whether it's medical, sexual abuse, they were exposed to something they shouldn't have been, they didn't have a proper definition of what was manhood, womanhood, or something else happened. Something always happened to where they go, oh, here's the trigger point. And here's the thing about those sort of struggles, just from my experience, is you don't always catch the ramifications or the effects when you're a little kid, and adults don't always catch the effects on children until it happens much later on in life sometimes, because it is a subconscious and mental switch that slowly starts to poison the well, slowly starts to change the mental state, slowly starts to change how they look at things, but it's such a subtle change from my experience, in my opinion, that it's not really caught. And so the parents are usually thrown off guard, going like, where the hell did this come from? And most parents are dumb nowadays about this stuff, because they'll go along right with it. I heard one story about a family, I believe it's out of Australia, who talked about how their son and suddenly felt he was a girl and kept trying to pull his own penis off. So this was a 4 to 6 year old boy, and it's like, okay, instead of going along with it and going, oh hey, he must be a girl born in the wrong body, you have to sit there and go like, why is my son trying to pull off his male organ, and who has been talking to him? What has he been exposed to? Is there something in our house that we're not aware of, or something that he's watching on TV, or someone that we're associating with? Most parents these days are fucking stupid and do not sit down and dissect, hey, somebody is preying on my kid with this shit. They just go along with it. Oh, well, this is perfectly fine. No, just, it's evil, dude, and parents need to wake up. They are sacrificing their kids.
And a lot of trans people, they refer to themselves as their true genders even before they started transitioning. And so I tried to refer to that 4-year-old Dylan as a girl, like, oh, that she's a little girl. But it actually made me really sad, because it felt like everything leading up till my coming out was now clouded with like fear and self-loathing. And that might change one day, but I think that's why I still refer to my past self as a boy sometimes, so that I don't have to be angry with my younger self. And oh my god, yesterday was National Come.
So that to me is a little ambiguous, because for me, I don't fully understand why he would be angry with his past self. For me, that one's a little new, but if I had to make a guess, and again, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a therapist, I do not have any psychology background degree, whatever, but if I had to make a guess, is he's angry because it's something that he really couldn't control, nor did he understand. And again, that anger could be coming from whatever happened to him, whatever mentally broke him on such a deep level. And so it could be he's angry that he didn't fully understand, didn't know what was going on, and feels like, well, I should have possibly caught this sooner. It just, God, for me, like I said, that is a new one. I do not fully understand why you would be angry with your past self, your 4-year-old self of all things, who doesn't really understand anything, starts spouting, hey, I'm a girl. Um, that one's new to me. If anybody has an idea, put it in the comments below because I'm just going like, I don't understand that one.
Coming out day. How did I miss that? So, to anyone that has come out, I love you. I'm proud of you. And you might look back on your day one coming out and think, what the hell was I thinking? But hey, at least, we got a little bit closer to who we always were supposed to be. And, you know what? That's what I'm telling myself. But love ya. Thanks for being patient with me. Okay, bye.
So, who they're supposed to be? Oh my gosh. When you have people, and I've talked about this before, when you have people who have, let's just call it a mirror, when you have people's inner mirror broken, shattered, the original pieces missing, and you guys have seen the effects of a broken mirror. It's you end up with multiple images because the cracks create multiple reflections. So when someone's like inner mirror is broken and pieces go missing and or pieces that are added, it's such a deep thing, and to go, oh well, I was never supposed to be this way, and how the mirror reflects now is this is my true self, even though there's multiple cracks and there's multiple images now, and they're trying to put together the pieces that really don't belong. Hopefully it makes sense what I'm saying. It just I can't put this another way. I don't know how to emphasize this more or explain this further. It's such a deep level of confusion, brokenness, delusion, and you have people who prey on that because it destroys a person's life. Further, I've talked about how it's a form of population control, and they always prey on the vulnerable, the mental incapacitated, the physically disabled, or medically traumatized. So it's always certain groups of people that they go, oh, hey, you're special, you're this. And we've already seen with like the detransition movement how these people are pretty much like, okay, we're done with you, fuck you. We got what we want out of you, you can go die now. Pretty much. And if you've seen the detransition videos, because they're all over YouTube now, and YouTube has been trying to ban certain channels and trying to hide these people that are coming out saying, yeah, no, these psychiatrists, counselors, medical facilities are freaking off the rockers and they don't give a damn once they butcher you. It's very, very telling. And all them go, they didn't deal with my mental problems, they didn't deal with the deeper issues, and just freaking rushed me through surgery, put me on cross-sex hormones, or this and that, and it's the same, if not similar stories. So, kind of goes back to that inner mirror, because when somebody like is traumatized, especially goes through something that's very traumatic, whether it be medical, physical, or emotional, or pretty much all three, their filter gets broken and they start to see things in possibly not the right way or a twisted way. And I mean, I can go on forever, but no, it just, golly, I am very thankful, and I've said this on my channel before. I am very thankful this stuff was not prominent during my darkest time growing up, because during my early adulthood, 18 to 19 and so on, I was just in a dark spot mentally, and I pretty much kind of struggled through it on my own because people didn't understand. I had pretty much youth pastors and pastors run from me because my stuff was too much, or literally told my parents she needs more help than what I could give. So yeah, I kind of had to struggle through this stuff on my own and pretty much box up stuff I couldn't walk through. And it's still kind of like that. So anyway, this video's gone on long enough, and There's a clear definition of womanhood, and then there's not. Again, womanhood is the overall product of girlhood exploring and learning how to apply changes sexually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and how to present femininity properly. Because there's a proper way, and then there's like, oh, what are you doing way? I wish I can phrase this better again, because there's foundational pieces for me that I didn't grow up with. So even for me, I'm just going like, I don't wholly know what this stuff is, but at the same time, I know men cannot define it. The only way men can define womanhood in any type of way, is when they are married and what turns them on to their wife or their future wife or their girlfriend, or explaining something to their daughter, because a father to a daughter is her first blade, her quote unquote first love, her very first protector, just like a mother to a son is his very first example as to how a woman is supposed to act and how a woman is supposed to treat a man. So that's how it should be. And that's the only way as well how a woman can define manhood, what she finds attractive about a guy and what turns her on and what makes her feel safe and respected. So that's the only way that the opposite sex could define either womanhood or manhood. But anyway, I digress. This video is over a half an hour, and there's so much to freaking unpack. And it's going to get worse, and we're seeing that over and over again, and it is mentally taxing. But with that being said, I'm going to let you guys go. I'll see you in the next one. And yeah, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this crap. None. And people have to see that this will come to their doorstep and it's going to invade their homes if it has not already. This is not something you can go, oh, well, this doesn't affect me, so I don't give a shit. Or go, oh, well, it's no big deal. This is people just living out their true selves or their best lives. And it's like, no, you guys are part of the problem. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.